Hello.
How are
How
you
you doing?
guys? Good. All
Yeah,
good. How are you?
really good, thank you. The sun's shining, weather is
Mhm.
nice.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
it's
a
a lovely
song?
day here.
It is a song, but I'm not going to sing it.
Sing for the stream, Dave. Sing for the stream.
um, Welcome everyone. Say hello on the chat, and apparently I'm in charge of all the buttons, so I will try and share and show questions as we go along. So on the schedule for today is me and Jordan are going to kind of run through a presentation on how we at Niche kind of create online assets. So for kind of people that are looking at us for the investment packages, what that means, our process of how we create kind of a website and grow it. And then Lois is going to go through some new domains that we've got and tear them down. Someone's just
Exciting.
said, let me just see if I can show that one.
There we go.
No, that's the wrong one. That one. There you go. And I've just proved it by pressing the wrong button. Could possibly go wrong.
We'll be
Okay.
fine.
All right, let's crack on. As always, questions as we go, please, guys. Any comments you want to talk about, please shout. So you should now all be able to see the presentation.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So we talk about kind of online portfolios and assets and making money from websites, loads on this channel, and obviously internally we're all very familiar with what that means. We talk to a lot of new customers that kind of don't understand that this space exists at all. So not aware that you can kind of make money from websites, and certainly not aware that you can kind of get someone else to do that for you, and kind of create an online asset. So literally going to walk through at a reasonably high level kind of the different steps that we go through internally. There are definitely kind of experts that you will see on our stream regularly, who can talk more in depth about a lot of these topics. And where there's any kind of technical deep dive questions that me or Jordan can't answer, we've got Leanne on the chat who might be able to help. And we'll also kind of get those answered on subsequent streams in the future as well. Okay, so what is this large wall of text? So this is a kind of data project that we undertook around probably about 9 months ago now. And this was us kind of going through and looking at sites that make money through display ads. So we looked at all the URLs, and in the actual spreadsheet, obviously those URLs aren't blanked out. That's purely for the live stream. We looked at all the URLs. We looked at what niche those websites are in, so what subject matter they are in, how many pages of content those sites have got, the domain authority that those sites have, so kind of the strength of the backlink profile, the amount of traffic that that site receives on a monthly basis, and then we kind of banded them based on that traffic into different groups. Now, the point of doing this was to try and understand how much content and how many backlinks and what domain authority you need in order to stand a good chance of earning money through your website, and also how much money can you make for having different levels of content. And we were really pleased that the data showed some really clear trends. So we aggregated up all of these different sites and looked at the averages across these sites. So this table here shows kind of the different bandings within that data. So the row at the top shows all of the sites that receive between 10,000 and 25,000 visitors per month. And the row at the bottom shows all the sites that receive between 500,000 and 1 million visitors per month. Then you've got the average domain rating for all of those sites, the average number of pages for all of those sites, the average amount of traffic the sites receive on a monthly basis. And then we've estimated the revenue from display ads that those sites can make based on these traffic numbers. And so effectively, we can quite confidently say that if you can grow a site to a domain authority of 42, and it's got 605 pages of content, then as long as that content is strong content, it's well researched, and it's in a kind of a niche that isn't super competitive, then you can be confident that your display ad revenue could be up to $2,700 per month from that site. And then from there, we've kind of created a process of creating our customers these sites. So literally kind of from scratch, we will try and get your site to these tiers so you can be eligible to kind of earn that money through display ads. So I think Jordan's going to kick us off on the process to talk through the sourcing age domains, and Lewis does this on a kind of weekly basis, so I think she's also going to have something to say as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'll probably give you a bit of a brief overview of age domains, but I'm sure Lois has a lot more insight because she spends her days looking at age domains and finding the best ones for you guys, for our customers. And so when she goes through that process, you'll be able to say this, Lois, you look at thousands of domains each week, and it is just whittling it down. So we've got kind of loads of different checks, and you start with a big list, then you narrow it down a bit more, then you narrow it down a bit more on each of those checks, and build up a short list essentially from looking at the backlink profile, the content that the site used to have, making sure there's nothing dodgy going on with content. We use Wayback Machine, which is like an archive site of all sites' histories. We check that there's no red flags, and we also think of the different monetization options for that niche, which we'll cover in a bit more detail down the road on this presentation. And then when we've got that short list, we bid on those. So most of the domains we pick up are from auctions, and we bid on those and kind of have in our mind a figure that we might want to go to before we decide someone else can have it, because it's getting a bit pricey for what we think it's worth. Like I said, that's really brief overview, but is there anything kind of that you'd like to specify, Lois?
Yeah, so when we look at our age domains, when we do our due diligence tests and all stuff like that, there is, I think, around about 12 checks that we do for every single age domain, just to check through that they are we can sell them on, you can make a bit of a profit from them. So in regards to the red flags and the content and stuff like that, so we use Wayback Machine and Ahrefs to help us do this. So we're really just looking out for any type of niche change within the history of the domains. That is an immediate red flag for us. We like to stick with an age domain that has had the same niche throughout its entire lifespan. No signs of any hacking or anything like that. So like change of any languages, appearance of like slot machines, casinos, all that type of stuff. So we do really go into a thorough check that takes me half of the week pretty much. That I do this for the age domains that we do source. But yeah, that's pretty much how we do that in a nutshell.
Do you know roughly how many domains you look at, and then how many domains we end up kind of bidding on? So kind of the ratio between kind of the ones we find that we don't like.
Yeah, so it does vary week to week. Sometimes we've had weeks where we have over 100 domains that we've had to shortlist, and then but on average, I shortlist about 50, and then I'll shortlist them again using our due diligence stuff, and I on average probably approve maybe 6 or 7 of those.
Yeah.
The rest of them either have red flags, something's come up that just doesn't seem right, it doesn't seem natural, something in maybe like the history, or a red flag has come up. If there's a trademark on there, there's like loads and loads of different things that could happen. But we shortlist our shortlist, and then that's what we then put onto our site and what we sell to our customers. So yeah.
Yeah, next there is a live stream planned going into kind of a deep dive on the red flags. So
yeah,
if you're interested in kind of finding out more on that, then yeah, become a regular and subscribe.
Perfect. That's that slide. Next slide, please, Dave. Thank you. So yeah, so kind of once we've picked an age domain for a project, you know, it's gone through all of Lois's checks, and either for one of our projects or for one of our clients' projects, we've picked it, and then it's kind of what next, you know, in terms of strategy. What do I need to do? And so when we're looking for our clients, it can be as hands-on or as hands-off as people want it to be. So we've got some clients who want to be involved in every step of the process, and others who are seeing this as just a revenue stream that they want us to kind of take care of. What we kind of tend to do with that strategy is, first thing we're doing at the age domain level is looking at the backlinks, because that kind of guides us towards what we should be talking about and what the site used to talk about, as well as that check through Wayback Machine. And so that gives us an idea of the types of content we need to target to kind of harness the power of that age domain. You've got to keep that kind of topical relevancy to what you used to talk about. We also use a couple of other different methods. Kind of, it says it further down, keyword research, but I'd kind of say competitor analysis, keyword research, we tie those together. And so essentially what we're doing there is we use, for competitor analysis, we've got an in-house method called tomb raiding. I think we're going to cover that in a bit more detail further down, but essentially it's looking at other sites, looking at the content that they're producing. If they're a site that's slightly weaker than us, slightly less authoritative domain, then we should be able to kind of do similar content. But then we also do other more traditional keyword research methods, looking at your low-hanging fruit opportunities. So, you know, things that have low search volume, high search volume, sorry, but low keyword difficulty. And then we also look, you know, to sort of see, is there demand for this niche, and is there easy ways to monetize it? And we're going to go through each of these kind of strategy points in a bit more detail, but that's just like an overview of when we get an age domain and we know that it's passing all those checks, we have to run through all these sorts of things to decide on the strategy and the angle that we're going to go with that site in that particular niche.
Yeah. And again, kind of a shameless plug for our own site. If you kind of look at our website and look at the kind of the age domain section, then you'll find all of the kind of strategy write-ups that we've done. And that kind of gives you an insight as to the sort of monetization methods for different age domains, and the kind of different thinking that we have on the direction to take different age domains based on the subject that they used to be about. So once we've kind of got the age domain, we've made the decision about kind of what strategy to take it in. We then kind of do a deep dive into that kind of niche, and do some really detailed keyword research. So for those kind of complete newcomers to kind of the industry and website investing, effectively what we're doing through keyword research is identifying what people are searching for in Google, what long tail questions they're asking about that subject, what demand is there for specific questions. And once we understand that, then we can target our content so that we can kind of maximize the content in places where some people are searching. So kind of where there's demand, we can put content there. One of the main ways that we do that, certainly with age domains, is kind of deeply understanding the competition that's out there. So we will look, let's say we're kind of creating a dog site, so a site all about kind of dogs and training dogs and looking after dogs. Then we will do research and find out what other competitors are there that have sites all about dogs. And so we'll look at what domain authority those competitors have got, how much traffic those competitors are receiving, but specifically what content is working well for those competitors' sites. So what articles are driving them traffic. And then if we find competitors that have a lower domain authority than our age domain, so if our age domain is a DR20 and we find in it competitor site that has got a DR of 15, then we can be confident that if we target the same content topics that are doing well for them, then we can do a kind of a effectively kind of taking away their traffic and redirecting it to our site through having better content that is over the same topics on a more authoritative age domain. So we're effectively kind of finding their treasure and then using it on our site. And we find that to be a really effective way of building organic traffic fast. And that's the key kind of target, is to build that organic traffic. So it's free traffic that comes from Google. You're not paying for ads. And it comes back week after week as people continue to search for those search terms. Once we've kind of done that keyword research step, we'll then move on to the content production. So we'll make a list from the keyword research of all the topics that we want to focus on. And we can be confident, because of the keyword research step, that by writing articles of those topics, we're going to drive good traffic to the site. So that will then pass to the content team. We've got an in-house team of writers within Niche Website Builders. We produce around 4 million words of content every month across hundreds of different sites. We effectively create a kind of template for the writers, and the titles and the headings for that template is guided by what's seen in the keyword research. So we know what the title is from the long tail keywords that people are searching for, and then we can look at the headings based on what Google is currently liking, what Google is currently ranking as number 1, 2, and 3 for that search term. And then we can structure an article that we can be confident will outrank the articles that are already there. And we can also look at what the competitors are doing. And so if the competitors have got a 500-word article with no FAQs on there, then we can write a more detailed article, add some FAQs on, hopefully make it more informative for the readers, and have a good chance of outranking the competition because of our increased domain authority as well. All of the writers kind of go through and research the subject matter before writing the articles, and we create a kind of mixture between informational content and also commercial content. And what I mean by that is informational content might be how to train a puppy. So it's kind of content that will give the readers information about a certain subject, whereas commercial content is about a product. So, top 5 training whistles to train puppies. So it's kind of things that you can buy that are related to the subject, whereas information is purely information. With recent Google updates, and I know there's a live stream planned around this in the future, we will be going kind of into detail around what the best split between informational and commercial content should be, because that's really important that you get that right when you're growing that site. Okay, in regards to kind of actually building the site, so we've done the keyword research, we've written the content, we then need to kind of actually build the site itself, the technology, the CMS that holds all that content together. Obviously, we've built a lot of sites over the time, and we very much focus on building quick, responsive sites, which allow the users, but also, and importantly, Google, to kind of access the content as fast as possible. To do that, we've got kind of a preferred hosting provider that we use, which is Cloudways, and we use their DigitalOcean servers. We create the site in WordPress, and we typically use Astra or GeneratePress as the theme. We use image and video optimization, and more recently we've introduced kind of an extra step to really drive the EAT through the site, which is linking kind of the back-end schema of the site to social profiles that age domain has been linked with in the past. And we find that that's really effective in kind of getting the site to grow quickly, but also giving Google the right signals that the site kind of has the expertise, authority, and trust in that subject area. And then finally, we will kind of upload all of the content onto the site. We'll put it into categories. We'll format all of those bits of content. We'll put images up on those articles. Where it's commercial content, we'll find relevant products and link to those. We'll do the internal linking between all the articles, and that's a really important kind of step for effective SEO. So we'll go through and make sure that all of the relevant pieces of content are linked, so you get kind of topical authority. A really important step and often overlooked is kind of the QA of the site. So kind of looking over it before it goes live, making sure there aren't any kind of spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, linking issues to external sites or internally, just to make sure that kind of as soon as it goes live and Google starts crawling it, that everything is perfect, and the site can grow from day one. And then we push the site live. And we wished that we'd then kind of sit back and relax and do nothing. But unfortunately, there's kind of still a lot of work to do, which I'll let Jordan talk about.
Yeah, so like Dave said, once the site's live, there is work to do. Again, if you're using us, especially with our kind of investment packages that we have, we're doing most of that work for you. So you can sit back and do nothing if you want and let us do it. But if you are doing it yourself, there are some handy tips of things that you need to do. So one of the things that we do is submit the URLs to Google Search Console manually. This helps with getting pages indexed, and it's just it kind of helps in the early stage of kind of speeding things up a little bit, which is always a handy thing to do. And then especially in the first few months, but generally through the whole process of owning the site, regular monitoring is kind of needed. But the reason it's critical in the first few months is we want to make sure that our projects are going in the direction we think they should be. And so you're looking at the impressions, so how many visitors the site's getting, the keyword coverage, so making sure we mainly use a tool Ahrefs for this, but making sure that it's picking up and being ranked for certain keywords, and clicks as well. So it's just, in the first few months, it's not going to be groundbreaking numbers unless you've been really, really aggressive with your strategy, which it might kind of take off really quickly. But it's just making sure there's generally an upwards trend with all of those things. And so although we say regular monitoring, like I say, the first few months are key to be doing that fairly regularly. As time goes by, you can do it less regularly, but you should still be checking in on those things. And so kind of once we've had that handover call where we've passed that site over to our client, we then have ongoing strategy calls every single month to basically explain what we're doing with the site the next month, what we've done with it the previous month. And what that entails is, firstly, your content. So we're pushing new content onto our sites every single month, just because you don't want to kind of, like Dave said, rest back and just hope that things go well and hope that you start making money. You do need to keep putting content on the site to keep it growing, to keep the organic traffic growing. And so whilst we have that initial content plan and that initial content going live on the site, we also have a plan for the next 12 months. It is a kind of reaction plan. So although we might think this is where we want the content to go in 12 months, we might see a significant spike in a certain sub niche of the niche, and we might double down there and slightly change that plan as we go through the months. And that's what those strategy calls are for us to kind of advise you what we're doing, and why we're doing it, essentially. And it's a good kind of learning process. So I know Leanne, who I think is tuned in the comments, she was speaking to me a couple of weeks back about a client who has done a couple of projects with us. And by the time we've got to the third project, they're kind of suggesting things on the strategy calls rather than us, because they've learned so much from our strategy calls. And so you can use those to kind of learn, as well as the other kind of free resources we've got with these streams and stuff. It's a really good way to learn from us. Also, what we do, and I've got a whole slide covering this next, is digital PR, which is a link building method that we use to build high authority backlinks to the site. And so again, this will be something that's covered in those monthly strategy meetings. So we'll tell you what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I'm going to give you a really brief overview, but we've had Jake and Jack, who head up our digital PR team, on the stream quite a few times now, so you can go back and look for those. And I don't know when they're on next. It might be next week or it might be the week after, but I know they're on fairly soon, so keep an eye out for that as well. But essentially, what digital PR is and what we're looking to do is get the site mentioned on other sites. So some of the big news sites, including things like Forbes, CNN, MSN, Yahoo, as well as kind of your more regional publications. So pretty much every city in the world has their own kind of magazine or news publication. And then you've also got kind of your niche relevant magazines. So if you're in the fitness niche, something like Men's Health might be one that you want to target, a big kind of magazine there. And the way that we get mentions on those sites is by creating news stories and keeping on top of current events within the space, and kind of continually pitching to journalists with different ideas around these topics. So, you know, one of the key things that we do, and I know that this will probably be covered or has been covered in the past, but in every sort of niche industry, you can find multiple days for things. So in the food space, for example, you'll have National Pizza Day, National Pasta Day, National Burger Day, and so on. And so you can use those to your advantage and create stories, as well as kind of a more broader look at the industry if there's a particular trending topic or something like that. And the reason that we do this is because the sort of links that you get in there, you know, Forbes, CNN, so on, they're really high quality, really high authority. And so the signals that it passes to your site is, if enough of those sites are linking to you, then it tells Google this site is an authority as well. Not quite as high an authority as Forbes, although one day that could be the goal for your site. But you know, if you've got really, really high authority sites like that linking to you, then it is giving those good signals. Awesome. Next slide, please. Wicked. So yeah, so a bit more kind of detail about those ongoing efforts. So when we kind of have those strategy calls, again, this is kind of what we look to do. So the content creation, like I mentioned, we're continually uploading over a 12-month period, every single month, new content going onto the site just to keep that organic traffic growing. And when we're kind of reviewing that strategy, we're looking at what we need to change. You know, what content is working, what are the competitors doing, because, you know, new competitors come into the space all the time. There might be one that's kind of doing something really well, so we might need to revisit what we're doing. And also the key thing, when to monetize. And that's kind of guided a bit by the monitoring that we do. So the impressions, the keyword coverage, the clicks, and we look at all of that to kind of figure out the right time to monetize. Because although there's kind of rough guidelines as to when it might be in terms of number of months, every single site is different. Some can be a little bit sooner than others. And so we just monitor all of that, and we'll advise you, you know, this is the time to monetize. Let's kind of start monetizing. And I'm not going to steal Dave's thunder, because I know he's going to talk all about how to monetize in a second.
Just another comment from Leanne. She said that we're actually kind of building a bank of kind of informational videos. So when kind of customers have those questions, we'll have that kind of library of videos available to them for additional support as well. So monetization. So once the site's launched, we're doing that monthly content process. We're regularly reviewing the site. The site, and I've got a couple of examples in a second, will start to grow. And depending on kind of how aggressive with the content and what tier you've gone in at, that site can grow extremely quickly and extremely kind of impressively in regards to the traffic that you see. And effectively, once you are getting traffic to a website through organic means such as Google, you can then make money from that traffic. And there are several ways of making money. The main one that we kind of advocate is income through display ads. So there are fantastic display ad networks out there, such as Azoic and Mediavine, that effectively you kind of sign up to, you redirect your site to, and they will automatically kind of place ads on the site for you. And you'll earn money for every 1,000 page views your site gets. So you don't have to kind of sell the ads individually. You don't have to kind of work out technically where to place them yourself. A lot of that work is done for you. And again, kind of when we're building the site, we'll prepare the site for that, so that there's kind of good locations for those ads to go. On top of the display ads, you can also kind of revenue through what's called affiliate revenue. So I was talking about commercial content earlier on, i.e. advertising certain products or reviewing certain products on your site. If you put links from that article through to e-commerce stores such as Amazon, then you can get a kind of kickback of commission from those sales. And so that's a kind of affiliate revenue. Once the site is kind of authoritative enough, i.e. you're getting kind of lots and lots of page views, there's nothing to stop you kind of adding on an e-commerce section to the site as well. So actually kind of selling products direct through the site. And also depending on the niche, you might be able to kind of sell leads to businesses. So sticking with the dog theme, if you've got an article about training dogs, then maybe you could sell leads to local kind of dog training companies and have kind of a network of those set up that are paying you for those leads. So there's loads of wonderful ways that you can monetize sites. And through those strategy calls, we'll explore those with you. We'll give you kind of hints and tips, tell you when to turn that monetization on to kind of maximize the revenue possible from the site. And these are kind of a couple of examples of sites that we've launched exactly through this process. So we've gone through everything from that kind of finding an age domain through to the monthly reviews with both of these examples. This one was launched kind of around September last year. And according to Ahrefs, which typically kind of under predicts, we're on about 45,000 visitors a month on that site, and it's covering 86,000 keywords in Google. And as you can see, the traffic growth from September until now has been pretty aggressive, and we're pushing for that site to grow a lot more over the coming months as well. This is a much newer site that was launched earlier this year. And again, so you can see kind of it was launched in March. This one actually, through that kind of regular review process, we did notice had a couple of Google indexing issues, which we kind of fixed technically. And that's kind of where we see this slight dip here. And then as soon as those issues were fixed, the traffic's exploded in regards to growth. And we're now up to kind of 12,000 keywords that the site is covering, and over 4,000 visitors a month. And that's within kind of 2 or 3 months worth of growth in the site being live. So we can confidently say kind of the process works. We see it working on a daily basis. And the process is kind of based on that data and the data project research that we did last year. And that's kind of what we built these services around. This last kind of slide effectively shows you the potential kind of returns on investment from having a site in this space and getting us to kind of to grow the site. So if you were to kind of completely outsource the site, not do anything at all, be very hands off with it and let us kind of do every step of that process, then you can see the potential returns at the top end are very, very exciting. 390% is what we see from customer sites and also from what the data shows us. If you're looking for kind of a smaller site, so kind of a site that earns $500 a month, then you are better off from a kind of investment perspective, kind of doing a mixture of outsourcing and doing some of the work yourself as well. And we can certainly help you by kind of teaching you through those strategy calls. But every other level of site, from kind of $1,000 a month upwards, you can see a really clear return on the investment from our investment packages. So yeah, so hopefully that kind of gives you a really clear overview of our kind of process from start to finish. As Jordan's detailed and Leanne's detailed in the comments as well, there are loads of more in-depth live streams that we've done in the past on each one of those steps, and there's more coming up in the future as well. So yeah, do subscribe and check out those videos. If you do want to kind of chat to us about kind of the investment process and those packages, then get in contact with myself or Jordan, or visit the site, book a call, and we can talk about it through in more detail. Awesome. Okay, so I don't think there's any questions or comments that we haven't covered. No. So, Lois, over to you.
Hello. Thank you. Okay, so we have two food niche age domains today, guys. So the first one we have is Jewels of New York. It's in the food niche, 15 years old, really impressive 643 referring domains and a DR37. So a really, really good age domain to be starting with. It has that DR already, is slightly above what an age domain usually gets. We usually look between 15 plus. So having this DR37 and the referring domains as well is really, really good baseline to be starting with. So just a bit of back story about this age domain. So the Jewels of New York was created in 2009 by Diana. She was really passionate about cooking with everyday things, making really expensive, exotic dishes, family friendly, able to make it from home. And she really, really enjoyed finding little hidden treasures, little hidden restaurants and stuff within New York itself, and what they had to offer, and then recreating them at home, which she then published on the website and a cookbook as well. So this is what the site looked like back when it was live. As you can see here, there's the cookbook, a simple feast. Again, really, really just zoning in on those quick, easy, everyday meals, but making them, not boring, and as if you are in a restaurant. So the backlink profile, as I mentioned, 643 referring domains, really, really a great backlink profile to be starting with. Because it does have that number of referring domains, and 92 of them are do follow links again, so that's awesome. We do look at this with our age domains, the do follows, obviously the higher percentage the better, and with these backlinks as well, considering there are 643 of them, a lot of do follows for this one. So we have huffpost.com, Vogue, I mean, that just speaks for itself. Bonappetit.com, Architectural Digest, MarthaStewart.com, another really big food backlink to be having, thecut.com, Thrillist.com, and thekitchen.com as well. So as you can see here, only a couple of these, but the DR90s all the way down to DR86, and that's just a few of them. Really, really strong authoritative backlinks. Lots of niche relevant content within these backlinks, and obviously with the DR being really high as well, they are incredibly authoritative on Google too. So the anchor text profile for this one, a little bit small, but as you can see, so when we do look at our anchor text, when we are looking for age domains, there's a load of different types of anchor text, but what we really, really look for is branded. So this means that it needs to have the name of the age domain within the top 2 or 3 that we look at. So as you can see here, the Jewels of New York is the branded all the way down until the 4th or 5th anchor text, and then we move on to Diana Yen. So this was the person who funded this site. Again, really, really awesome anchor text to be having, because then we can also create a persona when we do recreate this site and the content to be created by Diana. We don't have to use a last name, but just having Diana come back when we do relaunch this site, and the historic background that it has, especially with it's in the anchor text profile as well, really, really gives us that edge and helps us with EAT. So as you can see here, there are a couple more different types of anchors. So there's naked anchors, and then just your standard ones, the here, this, recipe, all that type of stuff. So we're really looking for just natural looking content when we look at the anchor text profile, something that you can just scroll down on a page or wherever, and it just flows naturally within a sentence and stuff like that. Nothing really shoots out at you, and specifically at Google when it does crawl a site. If there's something unnatural, it doesn't look right within the sentence and the context of the site. So again, really nice anchor text profile to be starting with. We have our persona already here, our branded, so awesome. And then we have our best by links. So again, when we look at our age domains, the stuff that we look at when we do look at these backlinks is where the best by links go to. We are really looking at the homepage being the target page for these age domains. Why? Because it is the most powerful page within that website. We really want all the referring, near enough all the referring domains to be going to this. And as you can see here, 215, if I can see that properly, referring domains are going to the homepage of the site. So it's exactly what we like to see. And then there's a couple then here going to different recipes, different pages, which we'll look at, seeing what type of referring domains are linking to these pages and potentially recreating them or redirecting them in any way that we can. So the strategy for this domain, so we're going to get right into it, how-to guides, lots of informational pieces of content on world food, cuisines, food traditions, all that type of stuff. You have your recipes, your listicles, loads of different types of recipes we can get into, appetizers, salads, desserts, bacon recipes, beverages, all that type of stuff. And then we'll really zone in on places to eat in New York. So we could start in New York City, Manhattan, all the touristy type stuff, and then really expand out to maybe New York State. Really giving us that advantage then of having that type of content, having that type of topic cluster to really get into it and have people come to the site looking for recommendations and stuff if they're looking at traveling to New York, the type of food and things, and really also helping with the recipes. Diana was really passionate about getting those really nice, high quality restaurant type food into your home life as well. So jumping right into the second domain, as I mentioned, they are both in the food niche. They're both very similar, so very similar competitors today. So we have pine needles in my salad. Again, 9 years old, 199 referring domains and a DR20. So slightly lower this one, but again, really has its own unique twist on the food niche. So this was created by Michelle back in 2015. She really liked to cook, enjoy new cuisines when she was traveling and stuff. And she really wanted to provide her audience with a variety of different recipes. And she really was into home cooking as well, very similar to Diane and the Jewels of New York. She even hosted events in her home in Seattle where other mothers could come along, bring their children and really learn how to create high quality homemade recipes from scratch and family friendly as well. So again, this is what the site looked like back in the day. As you can see, lots of different recipes, has the gluten-free, mushrooms, all stuff like that. So really family-friendly, easy recipes to be starting with. So the backlink profile for this one, again, 199 referring domains. Again, this one has really good niche relevant and authoritative backlinks as well. So as you can see here, cupcakes and kalechips.com, DR70, authoritative and niche relevant, awesome backlink to be having. Dizzy, busy and hungry.com, DR63. The bitter side of sweet, Manu's menu, more or less cooking.com. So again, we have really good DRs from DR70 all the way down to DR59, but really starting strong with this backlink profile. And again, with our anchor text, we really look at branded, as I mentioned before. But again, these as you can see here, there's a couple of longer ones, which are sentences and stuff like that. But again, completely natural, exactly what we look at when we look at anchor text. We just really want it to flow within the content of the page. So as you can see here, at the top here is Easter delivered egg chicks. I think that's what that says. I can't really see with my glasses on, but there we go. But again, like, that's really nothing to worry about. It's just a recipe that she had. Obviously, it was very, very popular. And then we have a naked anchor text, that's absolutely fine. A couple of different recipes and stuff like that. And then we do have our branded. So it's really, really important that we are seeing that branded anchor text within the profile when we do look at it, our age domains. Again, with our best by links, right at the top here, you can see the majority of our referring domains are linking to the homepage. Again, it's exactly what we like to see. This is the most powerful page within the site, so it just makes sense for the referring domains to be going to this one. Again, lots of different other recipes and stuff like that we could potentially look at recreating, redirecting within the keyword research plan. And then again, our strategy for this one, very, very similar. Informational pieces of content. You've got your recipes, your listicles, really, really focusing more on family-friendly meals, easy stuff to do for the kids, snacks or after school snacks, all that type of stuff. And then we will also be doing listicles for local cuisines. So she was based in Seattle, so we'll continue to stick with that. So 25 best pizza places in Seattle and 25 family friendly restaurants in Seattle. So lots and lots of different content to be covering for this one as well. So competitors, these competitors are relevant for both of our age domains that we have here today. So the first one we have fedbysab.com, DR12, so lower than both of our age domains, with 82.8k of organic monthly traffic. Focuses on just your simple but delicious everyday meals, exactly the type of stuff that we will be looking into with both of these age domains. And again, this is something that we could potentially look into tomb raiding. We've talked about tomb raiding a lot within our streams. We do try and look at competitors to show you. But with a DR12 and an incredible 82.8 of organic monthly traffic, we really zone in on how many pages of content this competitor has, really see where the traffic is coming from with this, and try and recreate it within our own age domains. So really, really good competitor to be looking at, and definitely one we will consider when creating the strategy for these age domains. And again, we have the biggie. So we have natashaskitchen.com, DR75, and an absolutely insane 7.4 mil organic monthly traffic. Again, she focuses on easy home cooked family meals, the exact same type of content that we will be focusing on within our strategies. And just again, a really, really amazing example of the opportunities available within the food niche. You can expand a food site hugely. Like, there's so much opportunity within this space, lots and lots of growth as well. So what makes these competitors stand out? So with these competitors, they do actually have their own video footage of recipes, which is really, really awesome. A lot of food sites, they have hundreds of recipes. They don't actually have any primary video evidence of how you do the recipes and all stuff like that. They use their own imagery, which is awesome, again, for eat and all things like that. But really having that video footage showing the audience how to create their own recipes, you know, and actually seeing it done by hand, I think that's really, that's an awesome way to stand out. So definitely something that we could incorporate within these age domains too. Use of their own imagery, use of their own recipes. You know, they're not just copy and pasting off another site. They're really creating their own unique approach to these recipes. They also have subscription opportunities. So, you know, your subscribe buttons, they get your weekly recipes to try, your newsletters, all that type of stuff that we could definitely add into these age domains as well. They also have their own cookbooks, like I mentioned. The Jewels of New York, they actually had their own cookbook, so that could be something that we could also bring across with the Sage domain if that's something you were looking into. And as well with these competitors, which I thought was awesome, they actually have linked Amazon. They have their own Amazon shop linked on their site. So all different products and stuff that they use, reviews, and all things like that. So definitely stuff that makes these competitors stand out, but also things that we could add into the strategy and really help these sites go above and beyond within the food niche. So again, revenue and growth. Obviously, display ads, affiliate programs. The boys have really dug in and said exactly the opportunities and stuff that you can get with these. Obviously, your newsletters. You can create your own food type courses, culinary courses, all that type of stuff. Really promoting products and things, you know, that you think have worked or whatever when you've come to a recipe and stuff. And really then diversifying your traffic. So you have Google, socials, emails, really not just relying on Google to get that revenue and that growth. So eat, obviously, we talk about eat all the time on these sites. It's really, really important. And with the strategy and stuff like that, we do really try and optimize it as much as we possibly can, especially when we do the web builds. We add a load of different stuff behind the scenes to really try and get eat optimized as much as we possibly can. Obviously the frequent content, so you know, really looking at different types of recipes or pages, different topic clusters we can do for you, and as well as link building as well. So just a little clip bit of the data project. As they mentioned before, exactly what it says. If you're looking at getting your domain rating, you're really looking at wanting to add that content as well as link building. And really helps you then get that type of revenue that you were looking for to get those digital assets. But yeah, I mean, those two are live on our site right now. Nichewebsite.builders, if you want to have a look at them. There's write-ups on them and stuff as well if you want to dig a little deeper on them. But really exciting age domains to be looking at, especially within the food niche. It is a competitive one, but I think these two specifically, they do really have that cutting edge, really focusing on family-friendly, homemade type of stuff. So yeah, really exciting domains that I've found. So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Do we have any questions?
No, just while you were talking, I worked out what the Natasha's Kitchen could be making from display ads.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a staggering number. It just shows that, you know, the opportunities in the food niche.
Insane.
It's
100%. Yeah, it's like, it is such a huge niche and there is so many food websites out there, but the opportunity is just incredible. It's insane. So
absolutely. I've been told off on the chat quite rightly by Lindsay because I said come and talk to me and Jordan. Obviously Lindsay is probably already talking to some of our viewers already. So my apologies, Lindsay. Definitely also talk to Lindsay as well. And Lindsay's made a really good point around kind of what's EEAT for kind of the new listeners. So I'm going to get this wrong now, but I think it's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And effectively, it's the way that Google ranks how much it trusts a website by and how much authority that site has got within different niches or different subjects.
Yeah, definitely. So the ways when we do this, so when we come to our strategy and stuff like that, so we're really into topic clusters, really zoning in and getting absolutely everything we possibly can out of that topic cluster. So that really helps with authority of your site, having really good natural backlinks and stuff as well, like niche relevant things. That's why we say authoritative links, backlinks, or niche relevant backlinks, where you're really looking at those type of things that Google will think, oh, okay, like they're just naturally linked to that because they have a, like they talk about food, they have these recipes, okay, so they're obviously going to say link with Martha Stewart or whatever, because there's loads of recipes and stuff on that site. So that's how Google really helps do it. And obviously you have your experience and your expertise. So again, really that does help as well with your topic clusters and things, and having that persona as well really helps with an age domain, especially if it's quite high on your anchor text profile. So we like to use those personas again, so that really helps with EAT and trust as well. So that's why sometimes when we look at a red flag or whatever in an age domain, if the niche has changed or whatever, Google is going to look back when that relaunches and thinks, well, what niche is that in? That makes no sense. So your trust is completely gone already. So those things all really factor into the type of due diligence we do, and obviously the age domains we do, and as well as the strategy. So yeah, we're really optimizing EAT in every single domain that we have.
Awesome. Good answer. And I've had another question come in from a Facebook user, which is, what is tomb raiding? So we did cover it earlier in the stream, so feel free to kind of rewind back through. That shows my age there, rewinding. But tomb raiding effectively is a part of our keyword research process, and it's a method that we use for keyword research where we go and look at competitors' sites. We find competitors that have a weaker backlink profile than the age domain that we're building on. We identify what content is driving traffic to their sites, and we target that content in our keyword research, because we can be confident that if they're driving traffic for that topic with a weaker site, then we can effectively steal their traffic with a stronger piece of content with a stronger domain authority. Hopefully that helps answer the question. And yeah, as I say, we did cover it kind of earlier on in the process. So I think any other questions, please give us a quick shout. Oh, go on, Jordan.
I think we've also got a whole stream on tomb raiding.
Yes, I think Adam and Mark covered it a couple of months ago as well.
Yeah,
so
it might be slightly out of date to the way that we do it now, because obviously things change and we do update things, but it's a good kind of, if you're really green to the space and you've got no idea what it is, then definitely go back and check that out, because it literally goes through an hour of why we do it and how we do it, pretty much.
There you go. That's cool. Yeah, so that's what we call tomb raiding. And I believe it's called tomb raiding because we're effectively raiding other people's sites and looking for treasure, which is what happens within kind of tomb raiding. So it does make sense. Cool. I think we covered all of the questions. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed the stream. If you have, click on the like button, subscribe, come and talk to us. And I think it's time to wrap it up.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I don't know what's coming up next week.
Guys.
If we can tease what's happening next.
I'm pretty sure it's the boys from DPR and me, obviously. I'm always here, so.
Awesome. All right. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you all next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.